Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers on the Xbox on the Series X for a short tutorial on how to make a closed system airlock and an automatic closed system airlock. So without further ado, we're going to dive right into this one. Now, in the background I've been beavering away at making a little space to do this, and rather than bore you with the making of said space, what I am going to do though is show you we've got a battery here. So if we jump to this battery and we just open this up like this, and we go here and we take a look at the settings on the battery, if we skip across to info, this is the most important thing. Your grid will come up with a bunch of numbers and letters. What you want to do is rename it here. I've called this one airlock, and then press OK, and that will set it. Then you'll see convert to station down below, which you press X on, and you'll convert that whole grid here to a station rather than a ship. To do so though, make sure that you cut it away from where you've built it. So I built it with a line of blocks away from here, going along here, then built it around this, and then split it off and turned it into a station. It just means it's not going to move again. It's going to stay exactly where it is. Anyway, the most important thing is we have our space for an airlock. You'll see that we have a vent here and two spaces for doors and a space for a vent here. So we're going to build the closed system part after we build the regular part. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to seal this area with a couple of doors, and as we're going to be naming these doors, and you can find doors under comms and hangars. Now we could go for these, but I prefer these. I think they're quite cool. So we're going to have this one, and we're going to have our inner door. We'll close it, hold down both bumpers, press the two squares or your inventory button, whatever it is, and you want to rename your sliding door, and you want to call it outer door or something along those lines. No need to press any kind of OK apart from on the renaming GUI. Let that come back, and then we want the same deal here, and we're going to have another sliding door, and we're going to call this one inner door. Oop, inner doot. There we go. So inner door, outer door, but we still don't have a sealed environment. To do that, we want an air vent, and so we're going to go for one of these new blocks. Now I'm actually going to use the vanilla air vents rather than the spinny air vents, because you might not have the DLC automatons with the air fan style air vents in. I do recommend it if you haven't got it. They are cool, but you will have the full block air vent compared to the old ones. Those came as part of the automatons update, so we'll pop that in there. Now, for now, you'll see why I put this little platform outside. We're going to scoot over here, and we need a couple of things. One, we're going to need our gas and logistics, and we're going to need an oxygen tank, and we can just pop this tank like this, and then we're going to need actually we won't need a generator because that tank will fill automatically to there, and we don't need any more oxygen flowing into that tank. You can actually fill these tanks using the depressurized function of an air vent if you're playing in survival, or you can just build an O2 generator, get the tank to about 50% with it, turn that thing off, because what you want is you want 50%. You don't want a full tank, because what we're going to do is we're going to pop in a conveyor junction, or a pipe in this case. We're going to link it through. Now you'll see that straight away our oxygen's gone down, because we have, in theory, hopefully pressurized the room beyond. What we need to do first though is ensure that we do actually have a proper oxygen supply going into this room. So again, I'm going to pop that there. This time though, we are going to have an oxygen tank, and we are going to have an O2 generator, and you'll see that the O2 generator has the conveyors on it. I'm just going to attach that there. Remember, you'll have to fill that with ice if we were playing in other than creative. And again, we're going to use a pipe to pipe it all up. Quick save, both bumpers, press X. And the PlayStation, both top bumpers. So, now, we're almost ready for the fun bit. Now you'll see that we vent our oxygen and we repressurize, which is kind of what we want, but we don't want to lose oxygen as we come in and out of our airlock. So how do we do this then? Well, you make sure your inner door is closed, like so. And we want to turn our inner door off. So press X on it when it's in this menu, and you'll see turn on off. So you turn it off, and it will go red. Can't open it now. Go to your vent, and the reason we use this is so we can get to the control panel on the vent as well. And we want our vent to depressurize. So we're going to pull all of the oxygen out of that room, but because we're using a closed system, this closed system will take that oxygen into the tank and store it without any more being added to it apart from the room we're in. So it will swap oxygen between the two. Now we can safely open our outer airlock, and you can see that no oxygen at all has been lost, which is excellent. That's exactly what we wanted. No oxygen has been lost at all. Okay, Now, how do we automate all of this? Well, we're going to use our friend, the event controller. So let's skip over to where the programmable block and so on is found in the advanced systems. And we're going to push up on the D-pad until we get to our event controller. And it's just past the custom turret controller block. Here it is. So we're going to pop an event controller down. And now we've got an event controller, we want to do an event on it. We have our depressurized air vent. This one's open. We need to set up an event. So going straight in to the event controller, move across, and then come down using the D-pad. And we want the event door open like so. And then you'll see that our available blocks, we have inner and outer door. We want both of these on the event controller. So hold down the right bumper, tap A until you have both of these selected like that, and click add blocks. Then you'll see our selected blocks for monitoring are now added. We're not done yet though. We want to go to our select actions. And on our select actions panel, we're going to use slot 2. Now, if you didn't know this already, and I did mention this in the beta, you have a second slot on your event controller. So let's pop it open. So you can see there that we have 2 slots, but we also have toolbars, and by tapping the right trigger and the left trigger you can move through them. So you've got the 2 slots. You've got what happens when your event is true, what happens when the event is false. Now on the PC it's easy enough to select the second slot. On our consoles we have a bit of an issue in that we can't just select the second slot. So what we can do is we can use a dummy block. So on the first toolbar, our dummy block is always going to be, in this case, light panel 5, and we're just going to make sure that keeps on. And now we've set that up, we want our inner door. Remember we called them inner and outer. We want to set that to toggle block on off. And then again we want to move across a toolbar with RT, toggle on, because you don't want the light turning on and off as this system's running, so always make sure it's on. And this time our next block is going to be our outer door, and we're going to make sure that outer door is on off. And finally our third toolbar, again we want our light panel on, and we want our air vent full 1, which we could rename, but because there's only 2 air vents and we built that one first, we know which one's which. And we want to turn the depressurization on that vent on off. We're almost done. We come out of this, come out of this, come out of this, and go across to our vent. Now on these vents you have actions, the same as an event controller, only one toolbar though. So in the first slot you want your outer door, inner door even. You want your inner door in the first slot, and you want to choose open. And then in the second slot we have our outer door, and we want to choose open. And now if I've set this up right, we should be able to toggle things and I don't know why that's turned itself off. Did I accidentally press off on it? Maybe. We'll have another look, see if it gets turned off the second time round. So now we're able to move from this here, close this, that opens. So what's going on here? This air vent is turning itself off for some reason. So let's have a quick look at the event controller, just in case. I may have put the vent depressurize command in wrong. It's quite hot here at the moment, so the computer room that I do this in now is quite boiling. But I like things to occasionally go wrong, so I can show you how you can troubleshoot it as well. I make no bones about the fact that things will go wrong in Space Engineers, and then you have to think, why is it going wrong? What have I done that caused this? Well, let's have a look on our action bar on the event controller, and I think I know where our problem lies. It's this air vent full. Let's have a look. I think we turn the air vent full, get rid of it, go to air vent full again, and then go depressurize on off, and that should fix the issue. Turn your vent back on. Now we can't get in here, and then close this. Now we've got pressurization. That'll open automatically. That's fine. Close this. Depressurization. That opens automatically. Now it's working. There we go. So all it was that I'd set that to on off rather than depressurize on off. Simple mistake to make, but also a good example of how to troubleshoot systems like this on Space Engineers. What we want now then is we can link this, make it a little bit more workable. You can have buttons, so all you need to do is remember that you're going to need a button here to get in, a button here to get out, a button probably on this side and that side. And just to show you how to set up buttons, what you're going to need to do though is when you're outside, you're going to need to close this door basically like this, because that will now open that door in there. So to get back in when this door's shut, we want just to pop a button panel, and we can use our button panel like this. Press X, and we're going to choose our airlock inner, and we're going to go open closed, and then press it. It's going to cycle the system and pop the door. So now we're going to rinse and repeat. Pop our button panel. This time We're going to choose our outer door. And we're going to choose open, closed. And now it's going to pop this door. Like so. And to complete the system, you can put buttons there. But you've seen how it's done now. I'm going to leave you to do the rest. So there you go. That's how to create a closed airlock system with an automatic airlock and troubleshoot it if it goes wrong. Hopefully this has been of some use to you. As I said, Space Engineers Automatons is a great update, but there is a lot more to come, and a lot more from Keen Software and myself. I'll be going through probably back to my survival save as well. We will finally get into space and see what's out there beyond my little Earth-like base, and see what resources we can find, and so on and so forth. But as more things come to light with automatons and more ways to do things come to light, I'll be covering it with tutorials and so on. But this should give you the basics you need to make things like airlocks, and in the last few videos, drones, wandering drones. As always, if you've got any questions, or if you have any ideas what you'd like to see me cover, even basic stuff, again, as an update to a video I've done in the past, let me know either down in the comments or the community section of the channel. Thank you very much for the likes, the subscribes, the support. It all means a great deal to me, and I will definitely catch you in the next one. Bye for now.